Elon Musk just gave us an unexpected peek behind the scenes at SpaceX, leaking some nail-biting new details about the latest Starship booster catch. Remember that final, intense moment right before the booster catch on Starship's recent test flight? The rocket was descending fast, and as it swung toward the launch tower, it crossed the point of no return, the moment when SpaceX's engineers had to make a critical choice. Attempt the catch, or face a fiery crash right beside the launch mount. We're learning that the booster came within a hair's breadth of an explosive ending, but not in the way anyone might think. And this inside info didn't come from just any source, it came from Elon himself. Musk accidentally leaked this while live streaming a Diablo 4 gaming session, casually letting us in on a conference call between him and his team about the Starship Flight 5 aftermath. From that call, 3 big, previously hidden details surfaced, and they're bound to have a big impact on the future of Starship. The first revelation was jaw-dropping. According to an unnamed SpaceX employee on the call, the booster was only a single second away from triggering a final abort, ready to ditch the catch and crash land near the tower. He described a scary incident that occurred during the booster's landing burn, and you can practically hear the tension in his voice. The issue? It all came down to a misconfigured spin gas support that didn't ramp up as expected, almost causing the rocket to give a shutdown command that would have ended in a disaster. SpaceX uses compressed gas to spin up the Raptor engine's turbopumps right before ignition, kind of like revving up an engine before hitting the gas. But when the flight computer noticed that the pressure didn't ramp up at the right speed, it was seconds away from aborting. Essentially, the computer nearly interpreted this as a sign that the booster couldn't make a safe landing, triggering an abort just 1 second before impact. Elon's response, a casual, "Wow, yikes," as he continued playing his game. But if you're an engineer on that team, this near miss is about as close to heart-stopping as it gets. The voice on the call added that this kind of mistake could erroneously tell a healthy rocket not to try the catch. Have you hit the like button yet? Help us boost the YouTube algorithm by giving us a like. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Many thanks for your amazing support, making an otherwise successful mission look like a catastrophic failure. Remember that post from SpaceX on the morning of the launch? They mentioned that thousands of distinct vehicle and pad criteria must be met before a booster is cleared for catch, and here they learned just how close they came to missing one. The SpaceX engineer acknowledged they'd introduced a bunch of new abort and commit criteria, each with strict tolerances. There was a point in the conversation where they wondered if delaying the launch by a day to recheck the criteria might have prevented this close call. But then how tight do you make those tolerances without risking constant delays? This real-time lesson in high-stakes decision-making is bound to affect what we see in Flight 6. By comparing flight data against predictions, the team's refining what those point-of-no-return limits should be. And there's more. That dramatic footage we saw of the booster landing burn, with parts flying off the rocket, it wasn't as random as it looked. The second big takeaway from this leaked call addressed the damage on the booster's exterior, specifically the missing chine cover. Apparently, as the booster transitioned from supersonic to subsonic speed, right before the engines reignited, one of the thin metal covers on the Chinese ripped off. In slow-motion replays, you can spot this moment with a section of sheet metal flapping before the full force of the landing burn tears it to pieces. The engineer confirmed this was expected, but noted it couldn't have happened in a worse spot. Why? That cover protected a cluster of valves responsible for releasing the compressed gas that's crucial for reigniting the engines. Without the cover, these delicate components were exposed to the full force of the exhaust plume. And here's where it gets even riskier. Those valves sit dangerously close to single-point failures, parts of the system that, if they fail, the whole mission fails. This area might need a serious rethink for durability, especially given how much these covers need to withstand. Finally, the third major takeaway from this call: SpaceX is aiming for consistency over novelty. For Flight 6, the company wants to reduce risks with the booster catch, focusing on perfecting this repeatable, complex maneuver rather than testing a higher orbit for the Starship's payload. Musk recently hinted that Flight 6 is right around the corner, and the engineer on the call confirmed that SpaceX's priority is booster risk reduction for now, rather than pushing new boundaries with the Starship's altitude or orbital abilities. With the FAA finally off their back, SpaceX is balancing speed and safety with a focus on a steady, refined approach, rather than taking new risks. Moving from SpaceX to Europe, there's big news for the European Space Agency, which just unveiled their new vision called *Explore 2040*. Now, don't let the name fool you. This isn't a vision for what they want to do in 2040, but a roadmap of milestones they're determined to achieve by 2040. And the list is ambitious. ESA's new initiative aims to send Europeans into lunar orbit, and eventually to the surface, with a Mars mission on the horizon. That's right. Europe wants to send humans to Mars. Next year's ESA Member States Council will be the key point where this vision's fate will be decided. They'll be pitching a low Earth orbit cargo program, which, if it succeeds, will be a big step toward European human spaceflight capabilities. And to support this, ESA is developing the Argonaut lander with Airbus, designed to haul 1.7 metric tons of cargo to the moon's surface. In short, they're building the stepping stones toward self-sufficient lunar exploration. ESA also plans to launch Lightship, a propulsion tug that could deliver spacecraft and scientific payloads to Mars, setting up a Martian comms and navigation network. This, alongside existing plans like the Rosalind Franklin rover, shows just how serious Europe is getting about space exploration. Meanwhile, China's not sitting still either. They've announced that their Tiangong Space Station, initially launched in a 3-module configuration, will soon double in size. A new multi-docking adapter on their core module will allow them to expand Tiangong into a double T-shaped layout, adding both size and functionality. They're also working on the Mango, their next-generation crewed spacecraft, with versions for both lunar missions and trips to Tiangong. This new spacecraft will hold up to 7 astronauts for station missions and 3 for lunar flights, with a goal to be operational by 2027. And they're preparing for more than just human spaceflight. China's next big project is an advanced telescope in Tiangong's orbit. This telescope, which is expected to be comparable to the Hubble, but with a much wider field of view and enhanced resolution, could help map about 40% of the observable universe over a decade. So, with SpaceX refining their landings, Europe crafting an ambitious 2040 vision, and China expanding its orbital capabilities, it's safe to say that space exploration is speeding up on every front. Don't forget to hit that like button, smash subscribe for more jaw-dropping space updates, and join us as we embark on a cosmic journey like never before.